going to be rough. Like, it's times like this where you really do have to remind yourself, like, you asked for it. Put your name in the goblet. Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? I suppose it's times like these. God, I'm losing the will and the everything. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, people of the world, spice up your life. Welcome back. I thought it had been ages since I uploaded a YouTube video, and I actually checked the other day and it's been 2 or 3 days, I think, since the last upload, which in my mind only means one thing and one thing only. It means that my consistency and my standards are raising, which is good. That's what we're always striving towards, people, is that standard just raising, that baseline coming up higher, so that when you start measuring yourself against, I guess, a previous version, it's one that was higher than it ever was before. I think that it compounds. All right, Liam, don't go off on a fucking existential tangent. We know you're capable. Anyway, I thought today we would just jump on and basically run through what will probably end up being a bit of a day in the life video, deep into prep, but take this one with a bit more of a stripped back mentality. You know, we're not showing off a show day here. This is not a highlights reel. This is like a what the hell is going on in between the last show and our final show of the season, the MBW International. What state are we at? What state are we in? And basically just a bit of a walk through. As you can see by the gloomy British skyline, it's quite early in the morning. It's just coming up to 7:20. The sunrise is getting later and later, guys. It's officially happening. Just like Sean Bean once said, winter has come. We are on the cusp of autumn. It's been some lovely weather recently, actually, that autumnal vibes. Good old, I like the autumnal season. Does feel like the comfort of summer has been ripped away from us very abruptly, but that's what you get from living in the UK, I guess. But anyway, we're on our way to the gym. We are 2 and a bit weeks out from the MBW International, the final show of our debut season, our rookie year as a natural bodybuilder. And it's crazy to be actually saying that. There were times during this prep where I thought it was never going to end, and now we're 2 and a bit weeks away. It feels very close. Having said that, boy, are we in a hole. We have made the decision, I say we, Zach has made the decision that for this final show of the year, we know it's going to probably be the highest standard of competition that I will compete in this year. Just for the gravity of MBW as a brand, the gravity of AJ, what he's trying to do with the sport, putting on this show for the first time and trying to set a new standard for natural bodybuilding shows and what they can be and what they can aspire to be in the future, which I've no doubt he will accomplish, and no doubt it probably will be the most glamorous show that we take part in this season, and the highest in terms of the competitive standard across the board. So we've made the decision to turn everything up a notch, to really bring the absolute best that we can at this current state to that show. It only makes sense to do that, you know. There's no point in doing anything by halves. We've given nearly 7 months to this process, and if you tally up the rest of the time committed to the sport, committed to actually the goal of competing, then it's 2 years of work. It's a 2-year body of work. That's the way that I always look at it. When people ask me, Liam, how have you made this progress in however long, or how long has it taken you to do this? I always say 2 years. I've been training for 10 plus, but 2 years to get from the point that you guys will always see me talking about on Instagram and social media to where I am now, because I feel like that's the fair reference point. You know, I could start throwing up Instagram comparisons of when I was 12 to now. It's not really relevant to the work. So, yeah, changes that have been put in place. We are on 1900 calories a day, both rest days and training days. We are on 14,000 steps a day, and that's just across the board every day. And we are on 4 sessions of cardio a week, 2 on my 2 rest days, so, you know, 1 on the Monday and 1 on the Friday. And then we also do cardio after push sessions. What has been crazy and will always be crazy to me about this whole bodybuilding process and just prep in general is the fluctuation of how you're feeling. And it's almost hilarious at this point. I said this to Zach in the gym the other day. Because we've got so little time left of prep, I can almost just laugh it all off. So if I'm feeling like extra shit, I can just almost be like, oh, well, we've got literally less than 3 weeks of this. And then we're on the other side, and like things will relax, and we go into the whole process of recovery, I suppose, out of prep and transitioning out of prep in a manner that means that I don't get morbidly obese in the space of weeks. Putting on healthy weight, we hope. But it's so funny to me how quickly things can change. I'm gonna give you a good example. So we competed last Saturday. It's now Thursday. Saturday I was riding high, baby. Like, obviously had a great outing. Best, like, probably, yeah, right up there, best days of my life, and proudest, like, personal accomplishment of my life. 2nd place in novice tall, as you guys will have seen from the last video. And then come the Monday, I was already in a prep hole of like, I'm so hungry, I'm so tired, and I'm just not me. It's genuinely crazy. For anyone out there who's trying to understand what it might feel like to be in a prep, or maybe you're looking to prep next year, I'm trying to paint the most accurate picture of what this feels like. It literally feels like if your personality and everything like that makes up you as a human being, whether that's that you're like a funny person or you're like a super engaged person, you love talking to people, whatever it is that makes up you as a person, it fills up your entire body to the top, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. And in prep, you wake up on these days and it just feels like someone's taken like a syringe and has sucked that out of you, and it literally feels like it's been sucked out of your face and out of your shoulders, your torso, everywhere. Like whatever level you're feeling to that day, it feels like it's been just sucked out, and you're left with like this shell of a body. This is so dramatic, but it's generally the only way that my mind can comprehend to explain it to you guys. You're left with this shell of a body. Me and Izzy often joke that I'm like a husk. Like we say, oh yeah, he's just a husk of a man, a wisp, if you will. But it genuinely does feel like that, and your legs and everything get heavy. Just walking around becomes like this monotonous task that you're just basically striving towards the end of. Every step is like, okay, well, I'm 1 step closer to the 14,000 I need to do today, so let's just keep moving forwards. But yeah, it's funny now, and I'm saying it all with a smile on my face because there's so little time left of prep, and you know, a lot of people like to paint that image of, oh, it's a privilege to prep, but it's a privilege to be able to push my body to this limit and to this extreme that I have been pushing it to, and it's paid off. It's paid dividend. Like, that glass is full, that glass of like self-actualization, and I guess, yeah, self-belief has been poured into the culmination of what's actually happened this year and this competitive season. So yeah, full of pride at the moment, but empty of anything else. Anyway, that's the update. That's what's going on with us at the moment. So And it's working. It's working pretty effectively. We've had some strange weight fluctuations this week so far, like 2 pounds up, 2 pounds down, 2 pounds up, 2 pounds down, literally in that order. Today woke up at 154.2, which is very close to an all-time low weigh-in. I think the lowest that I've been this whole prep was like 153.8, which I touched for the best part of like an afternoon or like a morning weigh-in, and then it went back up and stabilized. I'm fairly confident that with the next few weeks that we've got to work towards bringing an absolutely vacuum sealed package for the MBW, I'm fairly confident we'll get down to like maybe 151, maybe even 150. There's no clear scale weight goal in sight. That's not what it's about at this point. Chasing a number on the scale would be redundant. It could be actually at the detriment of my overall look. So that's what we're focused on, is using the scale as an indication as to, are things moving in the right direction? But more realistically and more accurately, we're looking at the visuals, which are superb, is the only word I can use to describe them. Like, for my standards and where I've been so far this prep, it's the best look to date as a competitor. I always want to, contextualize that with the fact that this is a competitive look. This is not a look that I see and I go, oh yeah, I'm the bee's knees. I actually look at myself at the moment and think that is pretty gross, because it is. It's like, people aren't supposed to walk around at whatever body fat I am. I'm probably close to 5%, maybe lower, who knows. I have striated glutes. It hurts to sit down, the lot. Like, it's not a pretty look, but it's a competitive look, and a look that when you walk out on stage all pumped up and glazed and tanned and everything else has gone to plan, turns heads, and specifically judges' heads, because they know how hard you've worked to look that way. Conditioning is king. That's what they say in bodybuilding. Doesn't mean anything if you've not got any muscle, but as long as you've got a decent amount of muscle mass and you get absolutely skin to the bone, you're always going to be in that conversation for placings. Anyway, it's been 12 minutes. God, I can talk. Other than that, we're just living life. We're getting a few things booked in for post-prep, nothing too crazy. A meal with Izzy, obviously, our, breaking of the great fast, let's call it. Very much so looking forward to that. We're gonna go pizza, nice Italiano, proper Italian pizza. A Peroni, stuff like that we've just been missing for the last 7 months. And more importantly, a date night with the woman of my dreams, my partner. Also got something booked in for the family a little bit further down the line, which is just going to be, a meal out, a cleanish meal out. I'm not going to go and be a glutton, and I know, like, Izzy's got my back. She knows what I'm like when I'm not actually fully switched on, and that prep switch goes off. There's definitely a chance that I will be, reaching into that cookie jar, because I am actually deep down a big old glutton. But I've got my best mate in my corner who's gonna go through that part of the journey with me as well. She's been supportive throughout the whole of prep and has already shown that she's going to support me through the back end of coming out of prep, so that's great. Anyway, we are on the way to the gym. As said, I've managed to find this absolute beauty again, the old Rossi. Tastes like a Fanta lemon. For those wondering where to find these, it really is a case of like just getting lucky. I found them in my local co-op. They've all sold out, and I just went and filled the car up this morning at the petrol station, and in the back, what's there? Fully stocked shelf of Rossi's. Delicious. So we're going to sip on this, get ourselves over to the gym, listen to some radio too, because I am an old man. The Scott Mills Breakfast Show, and it's pull day. So I'll probably film some workout clips for you guys, get a nice little going on. Might film a little post-workout posing as well for the YouTube, so that the guys and girls who do keep up just exclusively through YouTube. I'm not sure how many of you there are, but I love you all the same. You guys will get a nice little look at the old the rig, and then maybe we'll catch up later on today. This could be a long video today. We could be looking at the hour special, people. Right, I'll catch you on the other side of training. Post-workout, hopefully I did some nice chopping and changing in there. You rejoin me in Milton Keynes for a nice little coffee. That's yummy. Sensational pull day, to be honest with you. It's probably the one day that I connect with the most at the moment out of all of my sessions. So always good to get that into a high standard. Posing, I've not actually reviewed the footage that we caught on the DJI, but the shots that I took on my phone, I mean, they all point into one direction, which Zach seems to agree with, which is that this will be the best ever version of Liam Mira come 2 and a bit weeks at the MBW International, which is very exciting and easy to get excited about, to be honest. Like, the fact that the last show is going to be the biggest in terms of occasion and also the best in terms of my presentation is a match made in heaven. And we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen. You join me in a little cafe in Milton Keynes. I've just taken my car to get cleaned, get it a good old inside and out job. I'm going to do some work, unfortunately, because you know, we do still have the 9 to 5. For those wondering, my job is very sort of flexi hours, we'll call it. I do a lot of work that's US based, so I tend to have a relatively free morning and then be quite busy in the afternoon/evenings. But it chops and changes, it fluctuates, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. But it's fine, it allows me to pursue other things. The long-term vision, and hopefully not that long, wink wink, is to go full-time with the coaching and with the Physique project. Yeah, going from strength to strength. Actually got a consultation that we're going to be going to this afternoon over our lunch break. And if we get that client, it brings us up to 8 clients in total. the journey of the business is something that I do want to be speaking a bit more openly about, because I think it's something that a lot of people shy away from, because they're almost like, if you're not doing that well, people are embarrassed to share that they're not doing that well. And if you are doing that well, people are ashamed to show how well you're doing, because you don't want it to come across as egotistical or narcissistic, or like, hey, look how well I'm doing. Fuck all that. Like, give people your story, give people your truth, and I think it will resonate with them. My only intention with either telling people that stuff to do with the Physique project is failing would to be to guide you away from those mistakes. And my only intention in telling people when the Physique project is succeeding is to motivate you to pursue your own passions and try and make a career out of them. So I think it's a net positive overall. Anyway, enough waffle. We've got work to crack on with. So I'll catch you guys on the other side. Probably back at the flat for a very boring lunch. Yo, 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 party people. You join me in the wilderness. Taking myself outside for some fresh air, which I probably don't do enough of, to be honest. And I've really needed it this afternoon. So it's kind of going to fuel the next talking point, to be honest. I'm just going to pause. I've got Sam Sulek on a podcast talking in my ear. And he needs to stop because we're talking to you guys. One thing that I've noticed a number of times throughout prep, and I might have touched on it before, if I have and you've heard it, I'm sorry, but it's super relevant and super important, and all kind of to do with this, the rawness of this video. Whatever you're feeling, you are going to feel to the 100th degree. So for me today, that is a feeling of anxiety. I think a lot of that is caused by work, and I've just let it build up and get on top of me today, as we all do. And I know that, you know, once I come outside and I get this walk in, and even speaking to you guys through the camera, it's just unloading that, right, in any way that you can. But it's something I think should be spoken about a lot more. And realistically, I mean, you're well equipped as a human being to know what's going on. The reason I'm feeling anxious is because I'm fucking hungry and my body is probably going into a bit of a panic, which then sends signals up to my brain to say, hey man, like, what's going on? Why aren't we eating? We're probably going to die soon or something. And that's a pretty scary thought. And it leads to that build-up of anxiety. But we've kind of fucked up today, to be honest with you guys. I'm on 3,000 steps. It's coming up to like 4:45, and I've had most of my food. I've literally got some chicken to eat. That is not good. Like, that is not good bodybuilding, however you want to measure it. And yeah, I think that's probably the other cause of the anxiety. So we're coming out, we're dealing with it. We're going to crack on and get steps done. And then we've got cardio to do on nothing but some chicken for the rest of the evening. It's going to be rough. Like, it's times like this where you really do have to remind yourself, like, you asked for it. You asked for this challenge. You're the one who accepted it and signed up and, you know, put your name in the Did you put your name in the goblet of fire? You know what I mean? Like, you are that person. And I suppose it's times like these. God, I'm losing the will and everything. This is beautiful, by the way. Like, beautiful, beautiful walk that I'm on. See, that's doing stuff for me straight away. So, yeah. Not much to go off there, is there, team? But once again, you got to take a bit of rough with the smooth, and I want to show you guys that although I might come across as this super positive person, and I really do think I do, I always try and take on life's challenges with a smile on my face. There are times where it does get up on top of you, and we're all the same. It's just about how you arm yourself with tools to combat those things. If I wasn't in a bodybuilding prep right now, I'd probably get myself a cookie and I would feel much better. But there we go. Not the path we've chosen, at least not at the moment. I don't really have much else to say, other than, I guess, the key takeaway from this. 1, try and know yourself better. Know yourself for your flaws and try and get out ahead of them. That's the first mistake that I've made today, is not accepting that I am a flawed human being when it comes to certain things, and leaving too much up to chance. And that has then put me on the back foot, quite figuratively and literally, with one of my daily tasks, which is to get my steps in. 2, life's problems, when they start stacking up and you start getting stressed about work stuff, I really do believe in the approach of just zoom out, and nothing helps you do that quite like getting outside. You have a much better scope of things, you know, like I can literally see the horizon, I can see the trees, I can see the sky, and it does make you kind of go big, you know, weight off the shoulders moment, because we're on a rock spinning in space. I just don't need to be as stressed about certain things as I am. The work that I do in my professional life, people might see this as like, oh, you don't care about your job or whatever, but like, it's not important. I don't do important work. I don't save lives. I don't keep the world's economy running. I'm not a first aider, a first responder, anything like that. So is it that deep? Nah, not compared to space. And I think when you're having moments like this as well, try and go back to your roots. Try and go back to remembering why you started this in the process, in the first place. Started this process in the first place, what you've committed yourself to, and what that is going to lead to in the long run. And the person that you're moulding. Remember, Michelangelo's David, I think it's Michelangelo, I hope I got that right. You know, think about chipping away at that marble. That's what we are. We've got jagged edges, we're trying to be smooth. Sometimes you chip a little bit too much off, you get another jagged edge, and you've got to smooth it out. That's what we're doing. I will do a final summary of today. It will probably come inside Pure Gym, because that is where we will be going later on to do probably the remainder of our steps and our cardio. It depends on how many steps we get done here and now. I'd like to really put a bit of a shift in. I'm on 4,000 now. I'd really like to get up to about 10,000. So I'm going to walk for about an hour and see you guys on the other side. I told you all that I would see you in the Pure Gym, and here we are. It is, what is the time? Just coming up to 7 o'clock. Just going to close this one off real quickly because there's not too much to talk about. Obviously, since our last meeting, cardio has been boxed off. It sucked, but I've kind of re-picked up with Andor Season 2 since the reintroduction of cardio. So my brother, James, if you're watching this, he'll be happy to know that I'm getting through that again at a nice pace, not an episode every 2 weeks like it was more recently. We're going to close out with a couple of tips for people who are on an excessive step count. So to me, 14,000 steps a day is excessive. It's not an amount of steps that I would get in organically. I know that some people do, like my mate Will. I think he averages like 20,000 steps a day. The guy just walks everywhere. He likes it, he enjoys it, and he's got a dog. That does help. But for me, I think 10k a day is like my baseline, and anything north of that, to be honest, I kind of struggle to get in. So 2 little tips for people who are in situations like me where you're on a treadmill doing steps looking at a wall. Number 1, cover the screen. Cover the screen so you can't see how long you've been going for. It's like the easiest tip in the book. Obviously you can do that for any form of cardio. I do it on the bike, do it on the Stairmaster if I ever end up on that, which I haven't done this prep. But cover that damn screen, because the more things that you have at your disposal showing you how long you've got to go, the less likely you are to just like zone out and get it done. The other thing, if you are someone who does a lot of social media, like myself, bring your little freaking gimbly transfer stick, do your editing. Like honestly, biggest time suck known to mankind. Anyone who edits for Instagram, for YouTube, for anything, social media wise, anyone who's creating content will know that this part literally takes 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's the chopping everything together and doing the back end stuff that takes such a long time. So instead of sitting down when I get back home and sitting there for an hour putting a YouTube video together and not speaking to my girlfriend, I can do it whilst I'm here, get that done, and then go home and be present and be, you know, with my girlfriend to the best of my ability at the moment, because the dig is digging. But yeah, literally going to be here for probably 80 minutes straight, typing away on my phone, making posts, doing nice little things. So please engage with them, because they take time, people. Gonna love you and leave you. Hope this one's been bearable. I don't think enjoyable is the right word, because it has been a bit more stripped back and a bit more honest, like through my eyes, I suppose, and through the lens of social media that can often glamorize things. Like, let's keep it real for this one. It's not been the best day, so we're not going to try and pretend that it has been. But the good news is we've made it through the day, and tomorrow is a new day. And guess what? We've got sourdough and eggs, so it's going to start well. We'll try and carry on with that momentum. Right, you know what is coming, guys. Appreciate the support on these massively as always. We hit a little bit of a milestone recently, so let's celebrate. 150 subscribers. There we go. Look at the smile that's put on his face. Doesn't sound like a lot to a lot of people, but to me it is. The channel is growing. Love to see it. Appreciate the support as always. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, or if you are just watching multiple videos in a row and not subscribing, get it done. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.